James Taylor was in inspirational form again, and with a brilliant 100 for James Bracey, Gloucestershire thrashed Notts by 5 wickets with more than 10 overs to spare in their latest one-day cup match in Bristol. The visitors batted after winning the toss and made just the start they would have wanted, as their openers Ben Slater and Sol Budinger took 70 runs from the opening 10 overs. It was ended there as Slater, on 34, also tried to go big of Zafar, but instead skied high to Chris Dent. Hasib Hamid followed in the next over, uppercutting Van Meekeren to Tom Smith at third man. After 17 overs, Notts were 3 down, Matthew Montgomery having no clue where the ball was after a top edge off Taylor. Thankfully, Bracey did. That loss didn't bother Budinger any, however, he launched Smith down the ground and over the rope before adding a 5th maximum to have his team flying and reaching 139 for 3 after 20 overs. But then Gloucestershire came fighting back. Budinger tried to go long again, but instead found Marcus Harris off Smith, the opener's innings ending on an 89 made from just 56 deliveries. A simply unbelievable return catch by Taylor then did for Benjamin Martindale out for a single. The Gloucestershire skipper can do no wrong at the moment, and this was a remarkable bit of fielding. Those wickets slowed down the visitors' progress, and after 30 overs, they'd stuttered to 180 for 6. Taylor with a much easier catch this time to dismiss Fateh Singh for a dozen. And it was 199 for 7 as Smith found some turn and the edge of Dane Schardendorf's bat, Bracey with a smart take behind. From 151 for 3, Nottinghamshire were on 216 for 8 when Lyndon James was bowled by Jared Warner, and they still had 10 overs to bat through. Zach Chappell, who spent time on loan in Bristol, along with Brett Hutton, then added 52 runs for the 9th wicket to steady their side ship. Both struck 6s off Taylor, who was involved again in the dismissal of Chappell for 32, Van Meekeren the bowler. But Hutton was a nuisance as he saw his side through their 50 overs in scoring 28. He run out off the last ball by who else but Taylor. Notts ended with a challenging total of 294, but the hosts would have felt that that was something they could chase down. However, they lost Dent for 7 in the reply's 4th over, he nicking off to Hutton. Ben Wells and Harris then settled into their task at hand and steadily moved the score along to 52 by the end of the first 10 overs of power play. They would have been happy with the progress thus far. But then Wells departed for 28 as he used the bottom of his bat to pull Dane Patterson to Montgomery, who held on well. That loss didn't slow up Harris, who drove Singh down the ground for a 6. He and Bracey then batted with some caution, but never allowing the bowlers to get on top. They took their team past 100 in the 17th over to ensure that the Gloucester stayed right up with the run rate required. Harris looked set for a 50, only to be bowled by Montgomery, too short of one. He departed with the hosts on 111 for 3 from 18, needing 184 more from 32 overs. The task became a little tougher when Ollie Price turned Montgomery to Hamid after making a couple. But that brought in Taylor, who must have been a confident man following his extraordinary efforts last time out in the win over Somerset. If there was any doubt about that confidence, then it would have been removed after he came to the crease and belted his first 2 balls for 4s. He struck another off his 3rd and had, in a flash, raced to 27 as he and Bracey had their team handily placed at the halfway point of the chase. Taylor, meanwhile, was starting to take the game away from Notts, a side which had won its first 2 matches in this competition. This was his first 6 of the innings, and a second soon had him at another 50. This one coming at a canter of 30 balls, those 6s added to 6 4s. Runs were coming at a rate of knots now, and the target was now in sight with plenty of time left. Bracey may have been happy to be the backing singer to Taylor's rock frontman, but he was by now moving closer to the front of the stage himself. The partnership had become a match-defining one. It now appeared to be a race to three figures for both men before the match was won. Bracey was on to 90 when Taylor twice more drove Singh for sixes down the ground. Taylor was on 94 when Bracey hit a 4 to get to 95, and then he drove Hutton for another maximum to bring him his superb century, just his second in 50-over cricket. He'd used up 89 balls and hit 9 fours and 2 sixes and added 179 runs for the fifth wicket in only 20 overs. All that was left was for Taylor to hit a 6 to win the match and complete his maiden white ball ton. That he tried, but knew that the moment the ball left the bat that he hadn't got enough on his shot. He was held in the deep for a scintillating 95, which took him only 55 balls to accumulate. 10 fours and 5 sixes were included. Zafar then came in, hit his second ball for 4, and that was it, job done. And how? With Bracey ending undefeated on a 93-ball 104, Gloucestershire had eased over the winning line with 62 deliveries to spare. Having lost their first 2 matches, Gloucestershire now looked like the team to beat in this group. They ended on 298 for 5 from 39.4 overs, and that has them up to third in Group A, a victory by 5 wickets, and they will be relishing their next trip to Durham on Friday.